No, I'm not going to give you a 3, 2, 1 because we're started right now.
Okay.
We're on. All right,
Awesome. Shit.
Intro stuff. So, funny story. I'll intro you first. Team, we got Aaron on the podcast, daily interviews, whatever we want to call it today. Aaron is a member of the gym. He has been since May of 2017, in case you didn't know Aaron. And in that time, he's done 476 classes, which is creeping up on that 500 mark, which is pretty sweet. You know what? I'll come back to this funny story. It's actually kind of hard to Google your name and find things about you, Aaron, because
Really?
there's a very famous footballer with your same name. So it just comes up with all his stuff. So I figured what we might do is just kind of get your story as opposed to going through, bits and pieces that I've found out about you through your thing. And we might start.
Yeah. There's definitely not going to be any sporting highlights like your brother there.
Yeah. Wow.
I did play sports as a kid, but I wasn't. I was quite small as a kid. But still had a go. Still had a crack. I grew up in Geelong.
Yep.
Went to school in Geelong, high school in Geelong, Catholic Regional College, CRC, St. Mary's Primary School it is now. It's in this year. Oh, he's Matt.
I was here the whole time. What are you talking about?
Fashionably late.
He's just walked in on the workout brief and gone. No, so
you're like that guy at the Zoom meetings pops up out of nowhere.
I'm the guy that I always call out, so now I feel bad.
Nah, it's all good. Anyway, carry on, Aaron. Went to high school in...
Oh, we're finished now, haven't we?
Yeah, okay, that's great interview, guys, yeah.
Grew up in Geelong, high school, as I said, CRC. Became a chef. I was 17, nearly 18. Wasn't too sure what I wanted to do. Cooking was, started an apprenticeship when I was 17.
Whereabouts?
Pretty Royal Hotel in Queenscliff was my first gig. So pretty independent sort of young kid. So moved out of home when I got that apprenticeship, lived on site, and went straight into there. Pretty big shock to the system.
You lived in the Queenscliff Hotel?
80-hour weeks, scrubbing the pots, but it was a great experience.
I mean, you can do that.
I think cooking was an interest, but I really was pretty lost with what I wanted to do, but I'm not one that didn't want to do anything. I had a bit of interest in cooking, but definitely wanted something that I could utilize to travel with. So that was the big thing, having that career that I could travel with and experience places. So
there's no restaurants outside of Geelong.
My exit strategy to get out of Geelong. That was the plan. Royal did my first year there. It was interesting experience. We had about five chefs come and go in that year. I think there was so it was interesting. I think there was 2 months there. I was a first year apprentice where there was no chef. There was just me and the owner. So we were trying to punch out meals, and with my limited experience.
I like the idea of, hey, welcome to the job. Here's a pack of noodles. Get cooking, quick.
Exactly. Yeah. Sort of a sink or swim sort of scenario, but really 17, turning 18 in that year, all my friends are out partying and doing all that sort of thing. Gave up the weekends, gave up the public holidays, all that sort of stuff, but definitely don't regret it. From a discipline point of view and resilience, it wasn't easy, and sort of adapting from there. After that year, I went and worked at the Wharf Shed on the waterfront. So
Yeah.
I was there for quite a few years. Upgraded, went up to La Parisienne, French restaurant there. Was there for
Isn't it?
sorry.
Did you finish your apprenticeship then at the wharf shed? Because how long does that go for?
Yeah, I finished there. So yeah, went from the Royal, went there, finished there. I was there for about 5 years all up, and then yeah, just decided one day it was time to move on and leave Geelong. I had about a month turnaround where I secured a job in Perth at the Sheraton Hotel.
Yeah.
So I pretty much packed up all my gear into my BT Commodore, whatever I could fit in there. Bought a ticket on the train. So I drove to Adelaide, got the train from Adelaide to Perth. And the Sheraton agreed to put me up there when I first started because obviously I didn't have anywhere to live. So I stayed there. I was there for about 2 months until I found a place. So that was pretty cool. 5-star
As someone who knows Perth,
hotel.
whereabouts did you end up staying in Perth?
Where did I end up staying?
Yeah.
Once I found a place, it was keep forgetting the name. Starts with M. It was a fair way out. Yeah, I can't remember the name.
Okay.
I can't remember the name. Yeah.
It was at least 15.
I reckon it was probably equivalent to maybe, yeah, so quite low socioeconomic area. I didn't know the areas, so then I moved a bit closer to the city. Then can't remember the name. We'll just move on from that. But I was like, I used to ride my push bike to work when I moved places. So it took me 20 minutes on the push bike. So I was pretty close to the city.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So stayed there.
I mean, this is
around,
15 years ago, isn't it? You'd be 24, 23.
this is 2008.
Okay, 12 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I was there for about 10 months. And a friend of mine contacted me. He was working in a resort near Broome.
Yeah, right.
That's how he sold it anyway. Near Broome.
Yeah, Broome.
Resort.
For those that don't know, Broome is like Melbourne distance from Perth vertically. But near Broome is, I feel like there's a little bit of a caveat here.
Yeah. Near Broome. I did a bit of a Google search, but didn't really sort of comprehend where this place was sort of situated in regards to Broome. But yeah, I was up for the challenge. So I went up there, drove up, took my time, drove up, went to Broome, had a bit of time in Broome, and then I travelled the 2.5 hours from Broome to Derby, where I was quite shocked, to say the least. Quite a small, remote town. Yeah, I worked at a resort there, where it was quite, like I said, remote. And then it was wet season. So I got there and it was about a month in, and there's one road in, one road out, and that had flooded. So there was no in and out. Probably a bit like Melbourne stage 4 lockdown, I guess. No way in, no way out.
Did you have a job when you went up to Derby?
Yeah. So friend contacted me. He was working there as a chef. They needed someone else to come in. So it was just a bit of an adventure, really. It was,
sort of thing.
Went there. It was about 4 months in. My friend decided to leave. So he moved on, went back home.
Set you up.
It was an interesting experience. Spent a lot of time in the resort. It was a bit sort of like everyone was quite transient in the resort area there. It's probably a 90% sort of Aboriginal community in the outskirts there, so a little while to get sort of, I guess, accepted by the locals and things like that. But once you do, they're quite accepting and meet some interesting people at that stage.
Yeah, for sure.
But it was definitely a temporary gig.
Yeah.
So next step, friend of mine come up and met me, and then we road tripped it up to Darwin, where my uncle was living at the time. So he put us up. So
the rains to subside to get from Derby to Darwin.
Yeah.
You go across like the Kimberley in there and have a little look around, or?
Yeah, we went sort of across. Yeah. Up to Darwin, stayed with my uncle. Got out of the chefing game for a while, so I was working in a resort, just making cocktails, working behind the bar, that sort of thing. Just that sort of experience. And then,
So stuck within that hospitality sort of realm, though.
Yeah, well, at this stage, I hadn't done anything else, so
Yeah,
still utilised it. It was a bit of fun.
You sort of get stuck in it, don't you?
You do. You
Yeah.
do.
like a vortex.
It takes a while to get out. So worked in bars. Worked in bars up there. Got a place with my mate. He was a chef. He ended up staying there. He's still there to this day. I was there for again about maybe 8 months or so, and then group of us went on a bit of a road trip. So we went down the middle, went all the way down to sort of Alice and then Uluru. Just a bit of a road trip, and then we made our way up to Cairns and just doing the backpacking circuit, that sort of thing. Got another gig in Cairns, working away there, just having fun. It was just a fun time, really. And
yeah, see the country for sure.
Yeah. Met some interesting people, good experiences. So that was 2009, and then met Rach in Cairns. She was backpacking, English backpacker. Met Rach, had
Rach
4 months.
By the way, if anyone who doesn't know.
Yeah, my now wife. So we met, and
where'd you meet?
4 months.
Did you
She
slip
had
her?
4 months left of her visa. Sorry?
Did you slip her a free drink and then it was like game on?
Oh, there was definitely drinks involved. Yeah. I had 1 day off a week because I was back in chefing at that stage, so it was pretty hectic. It was a nightclub / restaurant I was working in. It just opened, so it was pretty hectic. But when I did get the rare day off, it was straight out on the town. So met Rachel in a bar there. Started spending time together. A couple of months down the track, her visa was running out, and she was heading back to England. So we decided, screw it. I got a working visa for England and plane ticket one way, and went back to England with her.
Yeah, nice, awesome. There you go. After seeing each other for 4 months.
Yeah, it was a roll of the dice.
I think it paid off.
Paid off, definitely paid off. So
No, done well. Nice. So you're over in England as an Aussie, 2010. Chefing still?
Yeah, chefing. So pretty much landed, and then the next day had a job interview and started working the next day. Really, I was straight into it.
Yeah, right. And what did Rach do at the time?
Work wise,
Yeah.
she was a hairdresser.
Oh, yeah.
She pretty much worked at the same place for 20 odd years before she went on a backpacking trip.
Yeah.
12 months in Australia.
Yeah, right. Man.
So got into the chefing again, and then
But is the chefing game in, because was it whereabouts in England for one, and is it the same as the Australia, or is it, you know, mashy peas and warm beer, or is it?
I worked in a fine dining place. They call it sort of like your gastro pub, I guess. It was a piano bar / restaurant in the middle of nowhere, really. It was a little cottage sort of place with a Polish guy that plays the piano. Fine dining. So yeah, fine dining establishment.
Spoons and
What is fine dining?
yeah, what's
Sorry?
English fine dining? Because I mean, I'm still thinking just mashy peas and warm beer. That's what
Yeah,
I rip on all my English
you
friends.
get the good mashed
It's a
potato.
little bit different than over here. I think we have a pretty high standard of middle ground food, but over there you've got your pub food, your mashy peas, and there's sort of no good middle ground. Then you got your fine dining, which you're going to pay, you know, your Angus beef, your foams, all that sort of fancy, pretentious sort of stuff, I guess. Handmade
That's
gnocchi
exactly
and
right.
all that sort of stuff.
You've just got mashy peas on one side. On the other side, you've got mashy pea foam.
Yeah. Yeah, sort of your gammon that's come from Spain and all that sort of stuff. So
Yeah. Right. Was that? Did you have to adapt pretty quick to the sort of what am I trying to say? Like the different way they do things. Yeah, like culturally in England, I mean, I guess it's pretty similar to Australia. Same language, we're allies.
is very similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I sort of found myself as the foreigner in there. Like head chef was English and everyone else was Polish. So just little inside jokes and stuff. You're the foreign guy in the kitchen sort of thing. But it was fairly easy to adapt.
You just got to roll with it, don't you? Otherwise, you end up as the lunch bucket type thing.
Yeah. And like we used to take in turns because we'd sit down and eat together because it was pretty long days. It was 12-hour days and things like that. So we'd sit down and eat together. We'd take in turns making that meal for the staff. And I remember bringing in like meatloaf and things like that they'd never heard of, or chicken palmies. Like that doesn't really exist over there.
Yeah. How can you not have a chicken palmy? Come on.
They don't even have.
It's either
They got pasta.
schnitzels, but no palmy sort of thing. So
Graceful.
ridiculous.
Did you put Vegemite in your tea at least?
Of course, yeah. In their tea. Sorry?
You living with Rach?
Yeah, we were living with Rach and her parents.
Oh,
there you go.
That's what I mean. Big roll of the dice,
Yeah. Like, hey, mum and dad, here's my Australian boyfriend who's living with us now.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure.
Did you tell them, or were you just excess baggage?
I just rocked up one day, said g'day.
Charging too much. There's at least 65 kilos of him.
Yeah, I was a bit heavier at that stage.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
I was very, very unfit, especially that time. Perth, Broome, all that was definitely not my my
Gotcha.
most fittest.
Well, you're supremely fit now, if I do say so. Versus the general population. Maybe obviously, Matt is the pinnacle of fitness in Geelong, but
Yeah, because I'd done BJJ before I left for Perth, and I sort of stopped. Yeah, so that's when I sort of stopped, and there was just a time in England where I'm like, I need to get my shit together. Basically, it just felt like crap. So I went in, started training at an MMA gym over in England, and started running. Someone I knew over there was into running, so just doing like 5-10K sort of stuff, and it was just that was sort of the start of that sort of fitness journey. Because back when I was doing jiu-jitsu before that, I was just doing jiu-jitsu. I wasn't doing any fitness. I was mat fit, but wasn't a whole lot of other stuff going on at that stage.
Yeah.
So I guess that where it segues into, well, Rach found out she was pregnant. So that was
Fantastic.
yeah. When was that? 2011. I've got a little time frame here.
I can see. So hang on, let me just get my data right. So you moved to UK in 2009. Is that right?
Yeah. Started 2010.
Out of 2010, right?
Started
So then
2010.
you're living there with her parents for like a year.
Yep.
And then
end of 2010, Rach found out she was pregnant. Yeah.
Practicing making babies turned into actually making babies.
Yeah. So that sparked me to go and do a bit of a Euro trip. So spent a few months, went over to Europe, started in Amsterdam, and then did a train trip. So I got a train ticket. So flew to Amsterdam, did a train trip, went to Paris, mainly all the main places. So
did you
Paris,
take Rach with you on this trip?
No.
I was going to say, I'm just listening to this. It sounds like you knocked up your missus and your immediate reaction was to piss off straight up to Amsterdam and just disappear.
Well,
is that what you're telling us?
That's how it would seem, yeah.
I'm pregnant. Good stuff. Goodbye.
Well, it was something that was always on the cards, and I guess it was going to be both of us. But the time frame of when I needed to do that sort of needed to be pushed along. So
How did she take that? I can't go. Cool. Well, I still am. Did that go down well?
She was super supportive from memory.
Hang on,
get it done. Get it out of your system. Then come back to your responsibilities. Amsterdam, Paris, Spain, Barcelona. Where to go? Granada, Madrid.
I don't know where Granada is. Where's that?
Yeah, so down south.
Of what country?
Spain.
Oh, Spain. Okay.
Still in Spain. Yeah. And then went to Nice, Monaco. Hired a Ferrari in Monaco.
Awesome.
Drove that around the streets.
It just sounds like you're looking for faster ways to escape.
Yeah, exactly. Straight down the highway. I'm out of here. Spain. I reckon if I was going to escape, it'd be Spain for sure.
Spain is just like Australia, except alcohol's cheap and they speak Spanish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it Spain? I think it was Italy. They've got like the vending machines. It's got alcohol. They just
part of it. We think Australia has a drinking culture.
And then
No.
And like Paris, they'll come up with like an esky of beers and wines and things. You can just grab them on the street. Good to go.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. yeah, finished up in Italy, and then went home.
How long
And
was that?
then, sorry,
How long was that trip?
about 8 weeks.
Oh yeah. So you're back before the second trimester.
Yeah, yeah.
Did she find you, or did you feel guilty and come home?
Tracked me down in Italy. Yeah. Yeah, and then the plan was always to come back here, but visas and things like that. Like I was, like the de facto visa, we needed to live together for a certain amount of time, things like that. So that took a little while to get sorted, and then we migrated back here.
To Geelong?
Back to Geelong. Yeah, mum lives here, so the plan was create a base here and then move to Queensland was the original plan.
Mm.
But that sort of never happened, and you know things happen. And Mila was born in England before we come back, so she was about 6 months old when we migrated back here.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Interesting. What a journey.
Mm.
And then when you came back, I'm assuming the next day after you arrived, you had a job interview and started chefing again.
Well, I went back to one of my old jobs. Yeah, back to the wharf shed.
Yep.
Which was already arranged before we arrived back. So,
Oh, right. Oh, that's all right then. So there you go.
so
Yeah, wow.
and then I guess CrossFit journey next, maybe.
Yeah,
You asked the question.
From there, like, I mean, I'm just kind of it's kind of fun listening to your life story, bro. So we're hanging out. Where are we at? So we're hanging out. Mila's 6 months old, living in Geelong, or living out like because you're in Clifton Springs at the moment.
Yeah, moved in with mum. That lasted a short period. I think we were there a week and we were trying to find places.
Yeah.
Just
with a 6 month old, it's gonna be pretty hard.
Yeah. We moved to Geelong West. That was our first place.
Yeah.
Moved to Geelong West, and then Geelong West to Ocean Grove, and then it wasn't Mila was 5. We built the place we're in now.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. Down in Curlew.
Moving wise. Yeah.
And then how did you transfer from chefing all around the world into coaching, into helping people find jobs?
Interesting segue. Yeah. So I think as soon as Mila was born, it was sort of that moment where I'm like, I completely had enough of chefing. So it's not as easy as just saying I'm going to do something else. Sort of just draws you back in. So always a plan to move out of that. And
when you
so
Australia, were you fitnessing still?
I was into the running. So when I got back, the plan was to get it back into jiu-jitsu, but this time I wanted to do it right, and I wanted to get fit as well at the same time. So I went to Bring It On Fitness, it was called at the time. And the coaches, so Jared was there coaching, and so was Tommy Lengel.
Oh, really?
So
I didn't know
went
that.
and hit up those guys back in 2011.
Yep.
So the plan was to just have something that could complement Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So started off with those guys. It was functional fitness.
Well, I own a CrossFit gym, so you can say it straight up. It was CrossFit.
Yeah, it was pretty much CrossFit without the CrossFit name. So trained with those guys and immediately loved it. Just felt so much better. And
were you also training BJJ at the time?
Well, the plan was to go back to it, and I didn't know. I got hooked in straight away into the fitness stuff. I was pretty well hooked, to be honest. Looking at my time frames here, so that was, stayed with those guys till 2013, and then went across to CrossFit Geelong for a little while. So I wanted to see what Tom had moved at that stage by then. Just so went across because I wanted to experience. I didn't quite know the difference between what we were doing and what they were doing in CrossFit. They were sort of the only one that called themselves CrossFit at that stage. So I trained with those guys I was there for 2 years.
Yeah, right.
CrossFit Geelong. Cam, Tommy, James, who's no longer there anymore. So I had a good. It was a good crew at that stage. Coaching.
Tommy's a top bloke. I don't know if he ever watches this. He probably never will. But Tommy, shout out, top bloke.
Yeah, Tommy's great. So I stayed there for a while. Rach did a bit of CrossFit at that stage. She was coming into CrossFit Geelong. We're right into it. And I was completely into it. Two a day sessions and things like that. That stage, I was right into it. And then that's when Jared took over, Bring It On, and affiliated. And I made because I still had a connection with those guys, that crew there, and I'd still go in and train from time to time. So went across there and to Bring It On. Back there training, so that was we had some fun times there, off on comps and things like that. Weekends away, doing the whole comp thing.
Yeah,
which was pretty much do your comp and then out on the beers, and it was a good social sort of thing. So there a couple of years, and then. Just I love the movement side of things, and just really intrigued by it. First did my Cert 3 and 4 fitness just out of interest, pure interest. I had no plans to go into coaching at that stage.
Just you and me now.
Sorry, my dogs were howling. My dog's howling at the chickens. Yeah, so you did your Cert 3, 4 colleges.
Yeah, I guess to backtrack as well, the guy that owns Bring It On before Jared was my old boss, who got me into BJJ. And he also got me into doing training and assessment, so teaching front of house hospitality stuff. So that sort of happened in between there. Got my training assessment cert, started teaching like barista training, RSA, that sort of stuff. So that was my first sort of getting out of the chefing as such, and started sort of teaching people.
Was that was the boss at the Wharf Shed?
Yeah, he was at the Wharf Shed. Yeah, head chef.
Yeah, nice.
He moved on and started his own company that was delivering training. So I got into the training game. I was doing that, and then started studying youth work, because I had this, after the chefing stuff, I really wanted to take on something that was rewarding. So I wanted to do something that helped people, so in a practical manner.
Yeah.
So started doing youth work, doing the training and assessment stuff. And I went into, after youth work qualifications, I went into resi care, so child protection, that sort of gig. So doing that for a couple of years, and then got a call up one day, random call up. So one of the companies that I was doing hospitality training also run a youth education component. So it was they rang me up and asked if I wanted to teach VCAL. It was numeracy. No, it wasn't. It was it was English. I'm like, well, I have that's throw in the deep end, but I'm always up for a challenge. So the reason they called me up because it was in a like a community service sort of setting, and because I dealt with youth in a, I guess, confrontational setting, they sort of want to like my training and assessment and my youth work quals and brought me over to do that. So that was in Werribee. So I started teaching VCAL.
Yeah, right.
And then that was a temporary gig, but they just kept me on. And then eventually that segued into working for Diversitat. Same thing, teaching VCAL, full-time job in Geelong, got that. And yeah, did that for quite a few years.
Just want to tell people what VCAL is. Are you there? Oops, sorry, blacked out. My internet connection.
froze.
We've got voice, we've got no video.
Oh, there he is. There he is.
Just tell people what VCAL is real quick.
Victorian Certificate of Applied Learning. So once you hit that sort of senior level, year 10, 11 or 12, a lot of schools will run VCAL for more hands-on practical sort of kids, I guess, and not necessarily just trades, but like putting learning into a practical setting. So numeracy in VCAL would be done as like a project of some sort where, you know, they might be building something, or I used to do a lot of sort of like my hospitality stuff. So I would set up a makeshift cafe where they've got to do all the costings and things like that. So just alternate education stuff.
We see it a lot through the tapes and that sort of stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, TAFEs do it a lot as well.
It sounds
So
almost
we were
you're taking your year 11, 12 and just making it an apprenticeship of some sort. So it actually works a lot of the time.
Yeah. So it's really geared at people that might go into the TAFE sector, move into apprenticeships or that sort of real life skills, I guess.
Yep. Yeah. Not if you think
Yeah.
university or something, like it'd be a really good place to go.
Yeah. So you get a senior qualification. It's not a VCE. It's a VCAL. So it's a VCAL certificate.
We had this conversation in another podcast. I think maybe it was, who did I talk to? Anyway, one of the people, it's like, when was the last time you used your high school score?
That was with Harry, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah, practical skills. I've sort of segued off from the CrossFit stuff, but whilst doing all this stuff, I also studied the Cert 3-4 fitness, did that. That was like night school sort of stuff. Did that. And then some stage I decided I wanted to do a little bit of coaching just because out of interest. My first gig was not with Jared. It was with someone else doing boot camps. So they hired out one of the schools. They had the basketball court hired out. So I'd do morning sessions, just circuits and things like that. So did that for a little while, and then got my level 1 because I was still training with Jared at the time, and just wanted to do it out of interest and just upgrade the skills. So eventually went into coaching from there.
Yeah.
Just doing, just outside my full-time work. So casual coaching, and then went and did my CrossFit Kids cert as well because Jared was quite big on his CrossFit Kids and he needed a hand. So doing a lot of the CrossFit Kids stuff at that stage. Just loved coaching from there on, really. But it was always a side gig. Doing the VCAL stuff.
I believe because you were running a CrossFit gym.
Yeah, well, it was a side gig, and then it sort of segued into the first one was a lady that had a gym in Ocean Grove approached me about starting CrossFit Ocean Grove. So I helped her set up CrossFit Ocean Grove, affiliation, all the equipment, all that sort of stuff. And so moved into there, helped her set that up, and yeah, look, it was a good starting point. Me and the owner had a little bit of a disagreement, I guess you could call it. But I started the CrossFit Kids stuff there in Ocean Grove. It was a great experience.
Yeah.
I was there for a little while, and then Adrian from CrossFit Grovedale approached me about coming on board there. So jumped ship, went over there, was coaching casual for a little while, and then he asked me to take over full time as the manager.
Yeah.
So, full-time manager there. So I gave up the VCAL gig with Diversitat and bit the bullet, I guess, and jumped ship. So, which was a great experience.
Yeah.
And I was there for about a year and a half until Adrian decided it was time he was going to sell, and it was time to think what was next. So I had a bit of an interim period there. I'll backtrack. So when I was managing Grovedale, I was sick of training on my own, and I'd met you quite a few times in the past around the traps. That's always had a good vibe from you. So hit you up to come in and do some sessions, and rest is history there as a member. So, and then Grovedale got sold, and I had an interim period, so I was back in chefing for 6 months. Almost killed me, and I was just in that decisive stage. Whenever I'm picking a career sort of choice these days, it's got to be something that's going to help others in a practical way. So doing the VCAL stuff was always gearing people up to go into work, or help them create resumes and do all that sort of stuff. So employment was my next step, and I heard about the government program that I'm currently in, Transition to Work, Youth Employment. It's where we look at all pathways, we look at education pathways, we coach them. So we have coaches basically that coach them through. They get them into education, courses, tickets, even help them get their license, just building them up to employment. I just like the sound of the program. And what's that?
You're the dad of the Geelong youth.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Hence the grey hairs. So doing that, loved it. About 12 months in, started doing a bit more sort of business development, running a lot of the marketing stuff for our program. So setting up stalls and things like that, doing talks in front of schools and big crowds and things like that. So just really took the reins, which was not really in my job description, but just took it on anyway. Just went above and beyond, and got offered a business development role. So now I'm not a coach as such, still in the same program, but I deal with finding the employers, deal with work experience opportunities, internships, apprenticeship sign-ups. I'll sort of liaise with different people to get them signed up as an apprentice, government incentives, all that sort of stuff.
Mm.
That's what I'm currently doing.
Yeah. Wow.
And
What
the
a
coaching sort of, yeah.
That's just a great story to listen to. I'm just going to throw that out. I didn't have to say much at all. What a journey.
So, yeah, I fit a lot in.
No, it's awesome. And so you did start going back to BJJ. I'll throw that out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
After about 6 months or so of hearing you talk about BJJ, it just
and you've also
had to bite the bullet and go.
a massive thing that happened as well. That you had another baby.
Oh yeah, of course. So whilst managing Grovedale, so Rach was pregnant with our second bundle of joy, and yeah, one morning waters broke at 28 weeks, around there, which is not a good thing. So yeah, off to the hospital, and there was this whole saga, I guess. Waters broke, and then a few days in Geelong, and then rushed to Heidelberg, where because it was so early, sort of thing. And Rach was up there quite some time, so I was commuting, trying to. Mila was
5,
7, 8 at the time. So coordinating school, I remember still running some classes, quite a few classes and things. Mila would be asleep on the couch for the 6 a.m. class.
Yeah.
It was pretty hectic sort of time. And then, yeah, Holly was born 29 weeks. It was a bit of a hectic sort of time.
Bit of a spanner.
Really.
And Holly is a super
Spanner in the works.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry?
Holly's a super awesome little girl now, of course.
Yeah.
Was that her interview bombing us before?
Yeah. Yeah, she's nuts. She's nuts. Yeah, full of life. So she'll be 3 in November. So.
Yeah. I'll give everyone a little funny anecdote. Because I think they brought Polly back down to Geelong. Was that right?
Yeah.
And so Tani and I were having a baby as well, on a similar time frame. But Tani was in labour, and we were like driving to the hospital, and we actually saw Aaron and Rachel and Mila just walking in to see Polly. And I remember Rachel goes, "Oh, are you in labour?" And Tani's like, "Oh my God," walking along. It was absolute classic. So
yeah, Tani's walking down the street. She get a few steps and then buckled over.
Yeah. And I think Aaron gave us the good luck, and
Rachel said, "Oh, you poor thing."
You poor thing. That's right. Rach said, "Oh, you poor thing." Yeah.
And then I think by the time I wished you good luck that evening, you guys were already out.
Yeah, well, we left at 8 o'clock. I'm not staying in a hospital. Hospitals kill more people than they save.
Don't say that.
Yeah, we just spent 3 months in hospital, but yeah. And then you guys are in and out express.
Yes.
This is how you do it.
Kipping pregnant. Nah. Oh, there you go. What a journey. What a journey. I don't know if I have much more to add to that. That was a really good story.
Actually, I got something.
Yeah.
Polywod.
Polywod. Yeah.
When are we down for another polywod?
I think it's got to be done. Yeah, I sort of dropped the ball last year.
I reckon. I mean, we're almost still going to be
planned
nice.
As an annual thing.
Yeah.
So I think when we get back in,
Yep. Jim's
get
yours.
it done.
Yep, that'd be good.
I'm down for it.
People. We set a barbecue.
Yeah, so I with the polywod, so obviously I was still at Grovedale at the time. So it was very, it was one night I hadn't had any sleep. I'd been in the hospital. I'm like, I want to come up with a hero wad for poly. So that's where the first polywod, I was there in the hospital, just wrote it down. quite fatigued at the time, and yeah, I think it was pretty nuts. It was at 90 seconds,
Oh.
20 seconds to get the work done. 10 rounds.
Yeah,
It was just.
And I
think Alex Flight finished it. I'm like, it wasn't really planned for anyone to finish it like that, but I've made it a bit more user friendly. Made it an AMRAP, I think last time, so a bit more user friendly.
Yeah, I remember that. That's the most people I ever had working out in the gym at one time was the polywod.
Yeah.
Definitely keen for that again.
Which you can do. Grab a kettlebell and go for it.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah. So
Cool.
That's the journey so far.
That is. What's the plans? Let's say, come the new year, we'll give it an extra month before everyone gets a bit unpanicky about things. But come the new year, what do you want to achieve next year?
Fitness wise?
Yeah, we'll go fitness and personal.
Ooh, okay. I want to get those squat numbers up, but really sort of building on size, I guess. So really got to focus on size at the moment.
Platform shoes.
Yeah.
Small dog.
That'll help. Yeah. It's hard to say. Like when we put goals together, there's so many. I reckon the squat number. Get my squat number up. So
what's the goal? 150 maybe? Because you can almost do 150 now.
I'm just below 150.
Well, that'd be a nice short.
Yeah. Even like 155 towards that 155 mark. I think it's in there for sure.
Dude, I mean, you're probably, 70, 73 kegs?
I'm at the moment, yeah. And I've increased weight, definitely. So,
I mean,
it's funny though, like when I was in Perth and stuff like that, I was quite unfit. I hit the 80 kegs mark. Yeah, and it wasn't muscle. There's some pictures. I'll post it one day just as a laugh. But yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Oh, cool.
But I think getting into CrossFit was a game changer for sure. Like confidence wise and just that sort of like the resilience factor and taking on all those different things like going and teaching senior school, like VCAL and all that sort of stuff, it just gives you that just to try things and just have a crack. So
have a crack. It's
definitely helped with all that.
The worst that could happen is you screw it all up and they just don't ask you back, and then voila, you still get paid most of the time.
Exactly.
Cool.
And like the community and stuff as well, just been mixing with people that are getting after it as well.
Yeah. Hang out with like-minded people, for sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Cool. Oh, well, I don't want to take too much more of your time up because it's been nearly an hour so far. This is my longest one yet.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, 1 o'clock. But
sorry, I tried to concise it.
No, that was good. That was nice and long. Matty, you got anything to add?
No, I've covered most.
Well, thanks for joining us. And should we do our super awkward fist bump?
Which way am I this time?
You got to go send.
I'm here to duds.
Yeah, nailed it. Yeah, perfect. Cool. All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks, fellas. Keep up the good work.